Welcome back, dear viewers, and to get an in-depth look on the Suez Canal Authority's latest report, we're joined here live at the studio by Suez Canal Technical Office member, Mohammed Rifat Mugawer. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome, of course, and first I'd like to thank you for your kind invitation.
It's our pleasure.
Thanks, the pleasure is mine, of course.
Right, the latest report mentioned that the canal revenues hit the $515.1 million actually, yes, in October. How do you see this report and the latest numbers that we are witnessing?
I see it as a record, and this is a clear manifestation that the Suez Canal, especially the new Suez Canal, was a must. This shows us that the Suez Canal is making revenues. It defies any rumors, any bad talk about the new Suez Canal, saying that it was a waste of money, it was not necessary. Numbers do not lie. So we have a number showing us that the Suez Canal has achieved its highest monthly revenue. So this is a clear manifestation that the Suez Canal is making a lot of revenues. It was a good step and it was a must.
Right. Well, how do you see the role of the new Suez Canal in boosting trade among world countries, as it's considered the latest and fastest shipping route connecting Europe and Asia?
Okay. Suez Canal is a very important artery, not only to the Egyptian economy, but to the international economy. It makes goods go faster between Asia and Europe. And as you know that around 10 to 12% of goods of seaborne trade go through the Suez Canal. So Suez Canal is a very important route, a very important navigational channel. And also the United States Energy Information Administration has announced that half of world petrol goes via the Suez Canal. Imagine it, half of the world whole petrol. And also they said that the Suez Canal is the most strategic route for world petrol trade. Right.
Well, earlier the world's second largest container vessel actually, and a gross tonnage of 234,000 tons transited the Suez Canal for the first time.
Yes.
What was the impact of this?
Of course, it had a good impact on the Suez Canal. This shows us that the Suez Canal can accommodate whatever size of container vessels. That vessel was called MSC Isabella. It can carry up to 23,000 containers with a gross tonnage of 234,000 tons. This is a very large vessel. We're talking about one of the biggest vessels in the world. This is the second container vessel in the world concerning its tonnage. So this shows us that the Suez Canal is safe. The original Suez Canal, the new Suez Canal can accommodate whatever type of container vessel in the world.
Right. Well, last May, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated a number of Suez Canal tunnels. What's the importance of these tunnels in easing crossing from and to Sinai?
Yes. Actually, the story of tunnels began in 2015. When the President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi issued to start construction of 4 tunnels beneath the Suez Canal. 2 tunnels in Ismailia City and the rest 2 tunnels in Port Said City. These tunnels, we use them to connect Sinai to the Valley of the Nile. Imagine now the journey from Ismailia to Sinai takes only 20 minutes as a maximum time. So it makes the transit more easier. People now can go to the eastern bank of the Suez Canal to live. Actually, we have a new urban community in the eastern bank of the Suez Canal, which is the new Ismailia City. The new Ismailia City has about 57,000 housing units. Imagine this is a very large number of housing units.
Right.
It can accommodate up to 350,000 people. And those people will need a fast route to go from Ismailia to Sinai. So it makes it very easier to go from Ismailia City to New Ismailia City and Sinai. And also it adds to the stability and the development, and it's very necessary for boosting investment in Sinai. So now we have routes. You don't have to wait to cross the Suez Canal. You can cross it in just not less than 20 minutes. So it makes easier, it gives an easier access to Sinai, to New Ismailia city, and of course it defies terrorism. A very efficient tool to defy terrorism is to create urban communities, to turn Sinai from desert into an urban community.
Right. Well, in your opinion, what's the influence of the canal's fish farming projects in filling the gap between the fish production and fish consumption in Egypt?
The Suez Canal has its fish farmers. It's a company affiliated to the Suez Canal. We have around 4,441 fish basin on a space of land of about 7,500 acres. These fish farmers help in bridging the gap between consumption and the production. You know that we consume a lot of fish every year, and we are importing fish from outside of Egypt. So we have a big gap between consumption and what is offered as a production. These farmers, you can consider it a step to achieve self-sufficiency of fish. Also, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has instructed, these fish must be offered with a low cost. So if you review the price of fish of these fish farmers, price of fish, you will find that it's 20% lower than the price in the local market. And also recently, the Suez Canal Authority has made an agreement with the Ministry of Procurement to provide some kind of these fish through the outlets of the Ministry of Procurement. And in the three cities of the Suez Canal, Ismailia, Port Said, and Suez, we have outlets for people to which they can go to it and get fish with a lower price.
Right. How would you assess the cooperation with China through a number of contracts signed with giant Chinese companies to enhance heavy industries in the canal's economic zone?
We have a lot of Chinese companies operating. They have their own factories, their own companies in El Sofna city. The Suez Canal Economic Zone has now about 1,022 factory and company already operating. And the Chinese companies have a coalition called TEDA. TEDA, it's a very promising economic zone. It has a lot of factories. It has all of its facilities. It also has the second biggest fiberglass factory in the world, which, by the way, exports 90% of its production abroad. And it also has the biggest petrochemicals complex, which is now under construction, and it will be finished after 3 years. This petrochemicals complex will offer more than 3,000 direct jobs and more than 25,000 indirect jobs. So imagine we are now reclaiming the desert. It's not just sand and desert. Now we have a lot of factories, a lot of companies. We are offering a lot of job opportunities.
Right. During the summit that was held recently in the city of Sochi, President Sisi said that Egypt is keen to complete the procedures of the Russian industrial zone in the access of the Suez Canal. How do you assess this? Also, the Russian industrial zone, it will be held in Port Said city, east of Port Said city. It's a very promising project. It will have investment of around $7 billion. It will have some industries that we don't have in Egypt, like car industries, like mining industries, like tractors, and a lot of industries from Russia. And here we must note that this is the first time for a country as Russia to get out of their borders, to start to make an economic zone outside of Russia. This clearly shows us the size of trust in the Egyptian economy and the trust in the Egyptian political leadership. Right. Well, as an expert in the Suez Canal area, how would you see the necessary measures? What are, in your opinion, the necessary measures to increase the canal's revenues during the coming period, during the next month, for example?
Okay, thank God the canal is making a lot of revenues. And we have an annual growth rate of revenues about 5.3% every year. So the revenues are increasing. But we must note that the Suez Canal is affected by some factors, like the world trade. Now we have a slowdown in world trade.
Right.
Because there is a conflict and a commercial war between China and America, because we have also a conflict between Iran and America. Also, we have a kind of uncertainty in Europe because of the Brexit. So the international trade, the world trade is slowing down. Also, the Suez Canal is affected by the price of oil. You know that the importance of the Suez Canal lies that it makes the journey between Europe and Asia shorter. So it saves time also, and it saves costs. So it must be affected by the prices of oil. But the Suez Canal is adopting some policies like offering incentives to ships, like attracting new shipping clients, like offering new marketing policies. This is all to add to the revenues of the Suez Canal.
Right. Before wrapping up, I would like to talk to you about the Presidential Leadership Program, as you are a member of this program.
Yes.
And it's actually one of the most successful programs that took place here in Egypt, or that takes place here in Egypt,
Yes.
for the youth. Would you tell me more about the program and the impact it had on the youth who participated and graduated from this program?
Actually, the presidential leadership was a very useful experience for me. It was the first step to the empowerment of youth. But before empowerment, you need to train those youth. So in the presidential leadership, you study a lot of subjects like politics, like economics, leadership, business administration, national security, and so many other subjects. Also, it's not just about the studying. We participate in many workshops. We present many papers concerning the issues of the hour. We participated in preparing and administrating conferences like youth conferences, like the national, the World Youth Forum that we will have this December.
Right. Well,
So it's
we will, of course, have to end up this episode, but on a promise that you will come back once again to talk more about the Presidential Leadership Program
Anytime,
in
yes.
more details.
Yes, thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Mohammed Rifat Mugawer, Technical Office Member of the Suez Canal. Thank you very much for
You're
joining
welcome,
us,
of
and
course.
many thanks for your insight.
Thanks. You're welcome.
And dear viewers, with this we come to the end of this edition of Cairo Local Time. Many thanks for watching. This is Divine Ramzi signing off.